During World War II, famous figures like Audrey Hepburn and Paul Newman worked for the Allies, alongside countless others. Learn more about their wartime activities here. The King of Hollywood, enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces after his wife, actress Carole Lombard, died in a plane crash when returning from a tour promoting the sale of war bonds. Though he enlisted at the age of 43, Gable was stationed in England and flew 5 combat missions as an observer gunner. Audrey Hepburn's father, a British Nazi sympathizer, became estranged from her family before the war. Meanwhile, Hepburn endured the occupation of Holland, where her uncle was executed for sabotage and her half-brother was sent to a labor camp. She aided the Dutch resistance through secret dance performances, raising funds, and delivering messages. After completing high school, Paul Newman joined the U.S. Navy in 1943. He served as a radio operator and turret gunner on aircraft carriers involved in the Pacific War. Newman also trained replacement combat pilots and aircrewmen. Singer, actor, and social activist Harry Belafonte dropped out of high school to join the Navy. He contributed to the war effort from 1944 to 1945. At the time, the military services were segregated. German-American singer and actress Marlene Dietrich was known for her humanitarian efforts during WE. She housed German and French exiles, provided financial support, and even advocated for their American citizenship. The Marvel co-creator served in World War II. He joined the U.S. Army, where he had the important duty of repairing communication towers. He was later sent to the Training Film Division, where his writing talents were employed to help write and create training videos to help soldiers. Fonda enlisted in the U.S. Navy to fight, saying, "I don't want to be in a fake war in a studio." He served for 3 years, initially as a quartermaster 3rd class on the destroyer USS Satterley. Fonda was later commissioned as Lieutenant Junior Grade in Air Combat Intelligence in the Central Pacific. American-born Josephine Baker was a French citizen who was active in the French Resistance. Besides entertaining troops, she also sheltered refugees and delivered secret messages, including military intelligence. She was awarded the Croix de Guerre for her dangerous spy work. The mastermind behind James Bond spent the war devising and overseeing operations in naval intelligence. Commander Ian Fleming created a team, known as 30 Assault Unit, which succeeded in capturing an Enigma machine. Born as Isser Danielovich, and using the moniker Izzy Dembski, Kirk Douglas officially changed his name just before joining the U.S. Navy in 1941. He served as a communications officer in anti-submarine warfare, but received a medical discharge due to war injuries in 1944. Though living in Hollywood when the war broke out, David Niven traveled back to Britain to rejoin the army, which he had served in during the 30s. He took part in the invasion of Normandy, and even advanced to the rank of lieutenant colonel. Late-night television host Johnny Carson served in the U.S. Navy. He was assigned to the battleship USS Pennsylvania, which survived Pearl Harbor. There, his duties were to decode encrypted enemy radio traffic. English actor Alec Guinness joined the Royal Navy in 1939 and commanded a landing craft in the 1943 invasion of Italy. He later supplied arms to Yugoslavian partisan fighters. The English actor had a prolific career as a movie villain, notably as Dracula, a role he played 10 times. However, in World War II, he served as a Royal Air Force intelligence officer in North Africa, the Mediterranean, and Italy. In the months after the war ended, he helped track down and interrogate Nazi war criminals. During World War II, actor and comedian Walter Matthau served in the U.S. Army Air Forces with the 8th Air Force in England. He was a B-24 Liberator radioman gunner, in the same 453rd Bombardment Group as James Stewart. James Stewart became the first major American movie star to enlist in the U.S. Air Force to fight in World War II. In 1941, he first participated in recruitment drives, including radio appearances and propaganda films. He later flew and commanded many bombing missions over Nazi-occupied Europe. The famous author of children's literature, pictured here in uniform with Ernest Hemingway, served in the Royal Air Force. He was qualified to see combat over Greece in 1941, but was sent home following injuries from a plane crash. Dahl was later posted to the U.S. to work as a spy delivering information to Winston Churchill. After graduating from high school in 1940, actor Jason Robards joined the U.S. Navy, serving as a radioman third class aboard the USS Northampton in 1941, which was sunk by Japanese torpedoes while he was aboard. Robards later served aboard the USS Nashville during the invasion of Mindoro in the Philippines. The world heavyweight boxing champ became a vital publicity asset by joining a segregated cavalry unit. He boxed in charity matches to raise funds, and was used in recruitment campaigns. The famous French mime artist was named Marcel Mangel and came from a Jewish family, who had to live in hiding in occupied France. Taking the name Marceau, he joined the resistance and helped smuggle Jewish children into Switzerland. He saved at least 70 children. Baseball star Yogi Berra signed with the New York Yankees in 1943, but put his baseball career on hold to join the Navy. He was a gunner's mate assigned to the attack transport USS Bayfield. The American writer was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1942. He would carry pages of what became his iconic novel, The Catcher in the Rye, 1951, into combat. Able to speak French and German, Salinger was assigned to counterintelligence, and took part in the liberation of the Dachau concentration camp. Charles Bronson was an American actor who was known for his roles in action, western, and war movies. Before becoming an actor, Bronson served in the U.S. Air Force as an aerial gunner in the Pacific War. He was given a Purple Heart after he was shot in combat. Before he became a countercultural icon with his bold comedy, Lenny Bruce joined the U.S. Navy at the age of 16. He spent the next years working as a shell passer aboard the USS Brooklyn, a fire support vessel in North Africa and in Italy during the Allied invasions of Sicily and Anzio. The Star Trek actor didn't only serve in World War II, he almost died there. Prior to his acting career, Doohan served in the 14th Field Artillery Regiment of the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division. He also served as a pilot and saw combat in Europe, including the D-Day invasion of Normandy, in which he was wounded. Prior to his assassination in 1963, famed civil rights activist Medgar Evers was enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1943. He served with distinction in Europe as part of the 325th Port Company, a segregated unit of black soldiers. Tony Bennett was deployed to Europe with the 63rd Infantry Division, replacing casualties lost in the Battle of the Bulge. The crooner also witnessed the horror of the Holocaust when he helped liberate the Kaufering concentration camp. Legendary comedian and actor Mel Brooks joined the U.S. Army when he was 17 years old. He served as part of an engineer combat battalion, defusing landmines ahead of troop advances. The former The Price is Right host was enlisted in the U.S. Navy during World War II. He was a trained fighter pilot, but didn't serve on active duty. See also: fascinating photos of World War II.